Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. So go the first words of Simon and Garfunkel's song, The Sounds of Silence. The song came to me this week, and as you know, this week has been a very different week, an unexpected week, a hard week, a difficult week, not just for me, but for all the folks up and down Fish Hatchery Road and on adjacent roads. This Wednesday, I got up in the morning, and for some reason or another, I wasn't feeling all that great. I wasn't in that good of a mood, but I decided to do what I usually do on Wednesdays, and that is to go and meet with my colleagues in North Morganton, and there discuss the scriptures and what's going on in our ministries. And I went, and as I went, I knew that the scriptures were coming up in the lectionary, and particularly that one from the book of Genesis. And I asked my colleagues, can anyone give me a good reason not to preach on this text today? I wanted to avoid that text for a number of reasons that morning, mostly because I have no idea where I'm going. You ever felt that way? Ever felt like you're set out to go somewhere, but you didn't know where you were going? That's the way I was feeling in terms of things that I was thinking about over the long term and things that I was feeling just that morning. I was just kind of confused and a little bit dizzy. And I'm thinking, why does this scripture come up now? Abram answers the call from God. And as he answers that call, we find that he's 70-something years old. Maybe it took Abram a little while. Not sure exactly when God began to tell him, get up and move away from your family and your kinfolks and go to a place that I will show you. I mean, if I were Abram, I would have asked some questions. It would have taken me a while to come to accept that I was going to have to go somewhere, and I wouldn't know where I was going until I was shown where I was going. I like to get some information up front. Tell me where you want me to be. Tell me how to get there. Tell me what I'm going to do when I get there. Well, Abram was not given much of anything, but he was given a promise that God would show him where he was to be, and that when he got there, God would make a great nation out of him and a great family out of him, and that through him all the families and nations and tribes of the world would be blessed. Abram went, and if you remember the rest of the story, he had to wait. Even after he got to the place where he was going to go, that he didn't know where he was going, he still had to wait. And he waited until God began to fulfill that promise. And he died with two sons, one who had been exiled with his mother, and another son, his favored son, Isaac. Isaac, of course, has his difficulties, and he has these two sons in particular, Esau and Jacob. And I love the story of Jacob. Particularly, I love the story of Jacob wrestling with the angel of the Lord. You know, my spiritual life is not so much a romance as it is a wrestling match. Wrestling with God. Trying to figure out what the world will be God's next move. And hoping that God will bless me in the process of hanging on to him. That scripture also came back to